welcome and thank you for coming. Can you tell us what's your name and how old are you?
My name is Alan Pilan Castillo Gonzalez. I am 30 years old.
Where do you come from?
I was born in Panama. My mother is Guatemalan and my father's Macedonian.
Where did you study?
I studied pretty much in all those countries, but my high school I studied towards the end of my high school I studied here in Skopje, and the other part of it I studied in Vienna in Austria. I went and I finished my college, my master's, and I worked a little bit there as well.
How was school there in all of these countries?
That is an entire, we could probably make an entire video about just that fact, to be honest. Very different, very difficult for a child to keep changing so many schools, so many countries, so many different peoples. If anything, I had to learn how to adapt to the country and to the standards that be. Thankfully, I would have to say the only thing that made everything more bearable was the international community. So I pretty much I grew up with an international outlook on life, thanks to that.
What is your profession?
My family owns quite a couple companies here in North Macedonia, so we moved for that, and we currently work in those businesses. I am part of that. It ranges from transportation, animation, logistics, and entertainment.
What were the traditions and customs in your family?
We mostly grew up Latin American in this case. I'll just lump it in there. We grew up with a very Latin American mindset. Even my father, who was originally Macedonian, he adopted the practicality of being, let's say, more Mexican. That's what he always refers to himself. He thought himself more Mexican than anything else. And he speaks Spanish. We speak Spanish at home. And that's what we have. We have a more Latin American outlook at life, and we go more by those customs.
How was the society there?
Society there is very happy, very helpful people, quite poor a lot of the times. But like in anywhere else in the world, you have always extremes, and you always have small, big people. But overall, I think people were very satisfied, pretty happy with how things were.
Is it still the same as in the time that you were there?
Obviously, it's not. Things have changed, mostly for the better, I would have to say, but it's still like in today's world, everything's a struggle.
What made you leave?
We left mostly because of the opportunities that North Macedonia presented to us as a family, as a business entrepreneurs. We left for that specific reason.
Have you made friends here? Has it been easy for you to socialize and make friends?
It hasn't been necessarily easy to make friends with local people. It is very, very difficult to make friends with local people, seeing as your mentality is very, very different, and they don't necessarily understand you and your quirks and how you do things. The best example I can give you is going to a club, and as a foreigner, you dance. Something Macedonians don't very much do. And people look at you weird, and they consider it funny, and they consider it embarrassing, and I don't know what else to tell you. And these are the kind of small mentality tidbits that kind of just prevent it from happening a lot of the times. Even today, it's not as bad today as it was before, but it's still pretty decently bad, I have to say. But I have managed to make a couple friends who are a little bit more open-minded. They're good individuals. They help me where they can, and things like that. You always find good people.
Do you have now any really close friend that you can rely on in North Macedonia?
Yes, I do. I have a couple of them right now. They're just friends for the sake of being friends, just to hang out and do whatever.
Is there something or someone you particularly miss from your home country?
I'm sure this is going to sound a cliche, but it's always going to be your grandma, I think. Especially her cooking.
How do you feel living here?
I'm not so bad compared to some other people, simply because I don't feel trapped. This is something I get a lot from other internationals who move here and they stay here is that they sometimes feel trapped. And I agree with them. If I stay in North Macedonia for longer than 2 months, I also kind of feel suffocated to a certain extent. But thankfully, for my work, I travel a lot, so it's very few and far between whenever I have that feeling of anxiety.
What are the biggest differences between your home country, or many of them, and North Macedonia?
The people would be one of them. It's just how very different North Macedonians and, let's say in this case, Guatemalans are. Guatemalans are just much happier people in general, but that probably also has to do with the fact that we have a much warmer climate. Well, a much more timid, warmer climate, let's say, seeing as it's tropical. And here in North Macedonia, we have, it's very humid. It's not very humid, it's very dry. And I feel like people are not as happy necessarily as they could be. And I feel like there's a lot of people walking around with the weight of the world on them. And in Guatemala, we don't really see that very much. People just try to live the best life that they can live. And be it in poverty or not poverty or whatever, people try to make the best out of it, out of whatever situation.
Is there something that you want to add, something else that you would like to say and you were not asked until now?
I feel North Macedonia gets a lot of crap from a lot of different people, and some of it is well earned, some of it is not earned at all. Obviously, every country can improve. But what people have to realize is that North Macedonia is not that bad. If you're from here and you're trying to leave here, I suggest you don't. There's no reason for you to go somewhere else. You're going to end up starting from zero, and you're going to end up struggling the same, if not worse. At least here you have family. The reasons you want to leave are complete reasons that make no sense when you actually look at the mathematics. At the end of the day, you're saving 100 euros here, but you're going to be saving maybe 50 euros in Germany or in France or anywhere else. The only difference is here you have your family, you have people that you can trust, and you have people that are willing to help you.